Where were you on the night where Tyrese Maxey blossomed into a superstar on the national stage? Well, for the Philadelphia 76ers, they were right there in Madison Square Garden, where Tyrese Maxey went and dropped 46 points, leading this team to a victory, the Sixers needing every single point that he did give them. To dive into the game and the box score as a whole, the Sixers producing a 112-106 victory in overtime, and as I led with, Tyrese Maxey, the story of the game. 52 minutes, did not sub out from start to finish, produced 46 points, along with 9 assists, 5 rebounds, shot a ridiculous 7 of 12 from beyond the three-point arc, and 17 of 30 from down the stretch. And what was most important was the way that Tyrese Maxey absolutely went out and took this game for the Sixers. There was a point in this game where Joel Embiid clearly did not have it, and we will get to him. The other guys were not shooting shots, and it was basically Tyrese Maxey or bust from an offensive end. And Maxey said, I got you. And he made that loud and clear come post game, even by acknowledging to Joel Embiid as they're dapping up, just, I got you, saying I can carry this team to a win when you need that to be the case. And that just changes the conversation in the short term for how we should view Tyrese Maxey and in the long term for what this means to the Sixers franchise. Now, we will get to the bigger picture conversations regarding this team. I do want to live in the moment with how good he was tonight. And with that, I'll just start by saying, picture an NBA player right now. Whoever he is, Tyrese Maxey is better than him. That he has risen to the real deal, not just all-star. We've seen him crowned as an all-star, but a guy that has a legitimate all-NBA case, a dude that has a brighter future than really just about anybody but a handful. That the short list of players that the Sixers should be open to moving on for Tyrese Maxey from gets narrower and narrower and is frankly in the single digits at this point. This kid just works his tail off, gets better day in and day out, and is hungrier and readier for the moment than just about any kid that I've seen. He's 23 years old, still just living up. And to take us through the meat of this game, where Tyrese Maxey took this superstar drive, I just want to take you through the last minute and a half of the fourth quarter. So to pull up the play-by-play here, I want to start with this play off the top. At this point, the Sixers trailing by 5 points, that Maxey hits a 13-foot driving floater and was fouled by Jalen Brunson. Now Maxey misses the free throw here. The Sixers currently trailing by 3. Jalen Brunson goes down, makes a 14-foot step back to extend the lead back up to 5. Maxey then has a turnover, takes a personal foul. And then here's where he really turns up, and this is where he just kind of exploded in front of all our eyes. So after OG Anunoby knocks down the free throw, it looks like this game is out of reach, that we have a 6-point game to this point, and then all of a sudden, Kelly Oubre Jr. with a driving layoff of a Tyrese Maxey assist. Now Miles McBride immediately answers, knocking down a 14-foot jumper. We're back up to 6 points with just 28.2 on the clock. The Sixers take a timeout, and then Tyrese Maxey knocks down a three-pointer and the foul. He gets Mitchell Robinson in the air on this play with the pump fake, kind of does the lean into him, jump into it, knocks it down. It's initially called a two-pointer on the play. They review it, they give him the 3, and he knocks down the 4-point play to make it a 2-point game at that point. The Sixers look straight up dead in the water, and then Tyrese Maxey pulled him out of it. And now from here is where it gets even better. So Tyrese Maxey knocks down the free throw. They, of course, have to take a foul. And then Josh Hart, the guy who's been killing the Sixers this series, splits the free throws, goes 1 of 2. And then we get a Tyrese Maxey 24-point three-pointer to tie the game. Now, this shot in itself, there's so many layers to. For starters, I think it was so cool that Tyrese Maxey realized that this was his moment. That there was no, what do you want, Joel? What do you want, Nick Nurse? We're going live, and we are scoring this basket. And then the depth, the logo, the Damian Lillard level three-pointer that look at where this shot was from. This to tie the game. See the score, 97-94 from the E in the New York logo. 7 points in 11 seconds to save the season. Tyrese Maxey, absolutely insane, an absolute stud. And the fact that he had the stones to take it from that and the ability to knock it down is just ridiculous to think about. Now, I don't want to bury the lead a little bit here, but Joel Embiid, we do have to talk about him. Now, to dive into the box score and what he did tonight, in his 48 minutes of play, which is a ton, he added 19 points, 16 rebounds, 10 assists. He did have 4 blocks, 9 turnovers, which is absolutely brutal. Shot just 7 of 19 from the field, 1 for 4 from 3. Only got to the free throw line 6 times. Not enough for him. It was not a good Joel Embiid game. Frankly, he looked disengaged. the people that are ready to attack Joel Embiid for coming up small in these closeout games, they got their evidence that they needed. Now, even this bad version of Joel Embiid still had a triple-double, still was a guy that was so impactful defensively, more so than anything, that he still was making some huge plays down the stretch with blocks, with getting poke out some steals. He dove on the floor for the biggest rebound of the game that really sealed the deal in overtime, and that was cool to see from like a standpoint of the Sixers just needed every bit of that. And also to his credit, Joel Embiid's probably the largest reason why the Sixers won the rebounding battle tonight. They ultimately out-rebounded this Knicks team by 6 boards, and that has been what's killing them. These 16 rebounds that he got were vital to this team, but that doesn't excuse a lot of the sloppiness. The 9 turnovers, some of the decision-making was just absolutely horrid. It looked like just kind of I guess to take it away from the skill set side of things, I think what frustrated me most about Joel Embiid, he did not have this same hunger, the same energy, the same attack-mindedness to going into this game that this team just needs from him on a night-by-night basis. Now, in the counter here, where this power balance kind of strikes out, is Tyrese Maxey did, that he was a guy to make up for what Joel was lacking, that he was able to step into center stage in a way that I still don't think people recognize he's capable of. And I do think on the national scale, we're seeing Tyrese Maxey wake people up, that he just went toe-to-toe with Jalen Brunson, a guy that's seeing legitimate MVP buzz. And by the way, if Tyrese Maxey got half the whistle that Brunson does, he's right in that same conversation, and frankly, I think will be next year. The lack of whistle on this dude is insane. So many times he just attacked the rim, going up, trying to finish strong, and just got nothing, and his body clearly took a beating. So shout out to Tyrese Maxey to this, but I do think this is a game that means something in the long term, that Tyrese Maxey's proving he's ready to step up right now. That this version of Tyrese Maxey is proving he's not soft, he's not afraid of the moment, and I would legitimately argue that with his skill set, the way the balance of this team flows, that he's the best number 2 that this Sixers team has ever had. Now, are there still questions about the rest of the roster? Still question with the status of Joel Embiid? These things are all absolutely true. But when you think about how robotic it got with James Harden and really not the full capability of taking over down the stretch, you live and die with these step back threes in a way that I just don't think is sustainable to long-term success. When you think about the Jimmy Butler that was in Philadelphia, that there's a ton of revisionist history, that the Jimmy Butler that we see in Miami, the guy that we've seen carry the finals team, that was not quite the same guy that was in Philadelphia. We went through a stretch of time with Jimmy Butler where he just decided he wasn't taking three-pointers for a couple months. It was weird. It was bizarre. But the point being that what we know of Jimmy Butler now was not the guy that we got for half of a season, that he has absolutely created the career path that he desired and wanted, but it was not sure that that would be the case. And then the Ben Simmons conversation, we've seen him shrink up small in the biggest moments, time in and time again, and that dude may never step on an NBA basketball floor again to this point. So Tyrese Maxey here is becoming the gold standard, that this is becoming the guy that should open up Sixers fans' eyes, and beyond just kind of the ability from a mindset standpoint to step up, stylistically, it just works. Like, this is a dude built to be exciting, built to be able to score in this variety of ways. It's so cool the way that his game has figured out how to connect. That for starters, it was always that rapid fire pace he had, that he can beat any single player in the NBA off the dribble. He's that quick. And now the threat of his 3-point shooting, how easily he gets to his step back and his side steps, that now forces defenders to overplay him, where he can get down and attack once again. He's added a mid-range. He still has a little bit of that floater in his bag. He's just find a way to connect everything, to have one of the more cohesive offensive games across the entire league. And by the way, 9 assists once again. Now, there is another guy that I did want to mention, and that being man of the hour, Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris played 49 minutes tonight. He had 19 points, 8 rebounds, assist, a block, shot 7 of 11 from the field, and 3 of 6 from 3. He was excellent tonight. And that is something that I wish I could come on here and brag about Tobias Harris more often, so I'm going to take the chance that he did give it to us tonight. He was everything this team needed, that he competed defensively, he held up with Brunson enough in the opportunities, knocked down 2 corner threes, was the only member of the Sixers to hit a corner 3 tonight, which is absurd, still competed on the boards, and he had a couple tough shots too, that in this flow of the Joel Embiid conversation, Nick Nurse very clearly trying to extend his minutes where you don't have to pull him off the bench. We know how the wheels fall off the second that he does sit on the pine. Nurse stole a couple minutes during about 6 minutes to the 4-minute mark during that fourth quarter because it was clear Embiid was absolutely gassed. Tobias hit this tough back down two that was just so necessary to the Sixers remotely being in that game to that point. So I'm not going to say he earned every penny. I'm not going to walk back some of the things that I've said before. But if we can get this version of Tobias Harris on a night in and night out standpoint from here on out, you're going to leave the city of Philadelphia a whole lot more satisfied than has been the case to this point. So shout out to Tobias. And I did just want to end on one of the cooler quotes here. that with Tyrese Maxey, we've seen plenty of quotes and plenty of examples of what a bright light that he is as a personality, as a kid, as a player, as a teammate. But there was another story that he told postgame that I thought was pretty cool. And this quote here, we have during his postgame here, that Tyrese Maxey credits Buddy Hield for picking him up during a down moment in the fourth quarter. Quote, I was on the bench and really upset with myself, missed 3 free throws, turned the ball over. Buddy Hield just kind of grabbed me and said, listen, dude, you know what you can do. Go out there and make up for it. I think this is cool on a lot of layers. For starters, Buddy Hield's a guy who has played himself out of the rotation, that did not step on the floor for a minute tonight. And the fact that he has the guts, the leadership to go step up and say that is cool. I think it's awesome that Tyrese Maxey is showing love for this. I think it's cool that it shows a little bit of how tight-knit this team is. And just really like a heartwarming moment and kind of a team that I think needed to see that. So I just did want to highlight that there. So now, as a result, the Sixers have now pushed this series to 3-2. That the overtime victory does carry them. We will be returning to the Wells Fargo Center, where hopefully more Sixers fans in attendance. Hopefully myself will be in attendance. Working on that as we speak. But the bottom line is the job is not done yet. That the Sixers team still needs to find a way to scrap out. I am proud of the effort tonight. I think there's a ton of positive takeaways to lead with. Number one being the superstar status that Tyrese Maxey has arrived on, but there's still work to be done. This Knicks team is absolutely beatable. We've seen it every night, and we're quite frankly, once again, one screwed referee call away from us being up 3-2 right now from the Sixers perspective. So there's still a lot of battling to be done. I do think the Sixers team still has a chance. I do think they can look this Knicks team eye to eye every single time they match up. And if you can come out the victor 2 more times, you're moving on to the next round. So we'll see if they still have that in their guts. A ton more to get into right here on Sixers Digest. Appreciate each and every one of you guys for tuning in to this video. Had to jump on and rip out a late night video. Still hyped up after that game. So appreciate everybody for tuning in. Make sure you're smashing that like button, dropping a subscribe, and I'll be back talking with you in the morning. Peace.